something that I really think women need to pay attention to and take to heart. You're stronger than you think you are. Because so many women, they come to me in the beginning, maybe crying on the phone, but then at the end, they are a completely different person. And I said, see, I told you, you can do this. You're stronger than you think you are. And if I can do it, you can do it.
Welcome to Breaking Money Silence, a podcast series aimed at helping all of us talk more openly about money. Your host, Kathleen Kingsbury, is a wealth psychology expert who is doing what she does best, speaking about taboo topics. International speaker, author, and founder of KBK Wealth Connection, Kathleen understands money and our relationship with it. Now, here is Kathleen.
Hi, this is Kathleen Kingsbury, the host of the Breaking Money Silence podcast. This year in 2024, we're doing a special series all year long on unleashing your true value, specifically designed to help women advisors and related financial professionals identify and communicate their value so they can earn more, be more profitable, and have greater financial well-being. We're going to have guests from the financial services industry, coaches, consultants, people who can give you a different perspective and offer different tactics for unleashing your true value so you can feel better about making sales, feel better about earning more, and ultimately we can close the gender wage gap in the wealth management industry. So I thank you so much for tuning in, and I hope you enjoy this week's episode. Hello, it's Kathleen Kingsbury, and today we are going to be talking about finding your value after divorce. This is one of the episodes in our Unleash Your True Value series. And I think this is such an important topic. We certainly have two great guest experts to help us explore it. But one of the things that you may or may not know is that many women really struggle to fully recover financially post-divorce. And, this can happen to women at any age, but I do know that for men who are divorcing ages 50 and older, their standard of living may drop like 21%, but their female counterparts plummet about 45% after separating. So that may sound dismal. You may think, well, that doesn't seem very uplifting. But what I have found, and certainly I think what our two experts that I will be interviewing have found, is that it's a real opportunity for women to take control of their financial destiny, to learn more about money if they didn't know it already, and to boost their financial confidence. So today I am wanting to welcome Diane Pappas. She is a certified divorce financial analyst, trained divorce mediator, and certified quadro specialist. She's also a registered investment advisor. Diane and I know each other through a networking group that we both belong to, and I know she has a great passion for making sure that her clients who are going through a divorce are financially informed, educated, and empowered so they can make decisions that are best for them and their family. One of the things that's really exciting is she actually is the winner of an award. Diane won the Lifetime Achievement Award from the Institute of Divorce Financial Analysts in 2023. I know that she often doesn't like to toot her own horn, but I will. I think that's really awesome. And we'll hear a little bit about Diane as to why she's so passionate about it and why she works so hard to help women who are going through this often difficult transition. She's joined by a collaborator of hers, Chris Chen. He is an experienced fee-only wealth manager who provides unbiased financial planning and investment advice. He helps guide women who are both divorcing as well as divorced to make sure that they are financially successful. Both Diane and Chris have collaborated on a course that I think is going to be really so helpful for women out there who are going through this process called the Divorce Course for Women. So I want to welcome both of you to the podcast.
Thanks, Kathleen.
It's good to be here.
Yeah, I'm really excited to delve in. I love the idea that we're talking about women going through a transition, and even though it can be emotionally difficult and financially difficult, that you two are really dedicated to making sure that they come out not only okay, but doing better than before in terms of their financial lives. Diane, let's go to you. Let's talk a little bit about, I know both of you are passionate about helping women through divorce, but I know you are particularly passionate about this topic. And tell us a little bit about where that passion comes from.
Well, Kathleen, unfortunately, I am part of one of those statistics. The 40 to 50% of the first marriages end in divorce. So I am divorced. I am remarried now, and hopefully this one will not end in divorce. I don't think it will. But after my own divorce, I knew that I needed to do something for myself. And there's a phrase out there by one of the divorce institutions. Actually, it's called Second Saturday. They have a line that says, "A man is not a financial plan." And I kind of took that to heart. And I realized that after my divorce, I had to do something because I was a stay at home mom for 18 years. At that point, I had, after the divorce in 2008, my oldest daughter was a freshman in college, and my youngest I think she was a junior or senior. I can't remember. I think she was a junior in high school. And my ex husband, was paying support in the form of alimony and child support. But I knew that that is just not what I wanted to have to rely on for the rest of my life. It wouldn't be for the rest of my life, but for the foreseeable future, I really did not want to have to rely on that because my ex-husband had a way of pushing my buttons and telling me that, you're just sitting home, not doing anything. So kind of in a thing, to him to say, look, I can do something. And I was doing something during our marriage. I decided to reinvent myself. And shortly after the divorce, I got into the interest of financial planning. I learned how to invest money. The crazy story, I used to watch Mad Money with Jim Cramer on CDFA.
No, you did not.
Yes, I did. And back in 2008, if you remember, we had a real big turn
Yep.
down in the stock market. And so I had some extra money from the divorce and I started investing. I was kind of playing with it. And next thing you know, I was doing really well. And that right there was like, oh, wow, I can do this. So it just kind of blossomed from there. I got into looking to be like a certified financial planner like Chris is. But after that, I kind of found my way into the CDFA certifications, Certified Divorce Financial Analyst. And that was really the start of it. So my passion from all that is basically reinventing myself, becoming an expert in my field because I knew that women needed help. I was lucky enough that I did understand the finances. I did, pay the bills and things like that, which unfortunately a lot of women do not because their husbands control everything. But I still didn't really, I just was not ready to think about retirement or saving for it or anything like that. So that's why I got into financial planning because, again, a man is not a financial plan, and I wanted to know more. So I found my way into the CDFA because I knew women needed the help. Just based on those statistics that Chris was saying, my net worth or my lifestyle decreased by 50%, I think, after the divorce, just because I still had the household, I still had the kids, but now I didn't have his income.
Right,
So,
right. I love this whole idea of reinventing yourself. I think it's kind of a healthy way that women can use their anger or their frustration or their hurt or whatever kind of was going on at the time. And so you not only reinvented yourself, Diane, you've won a national award for what you're doing now. So
that's pretty crazy.
it's great. I love it. And I love highlighting women on this podcast who are great examples of how, they found their value. Often we find our value during these downtimes. But I think that's really great. So as a non-professional, when you were going through the divorce, what would you say the biggest mistake is that you made?
Well, I think the biggest mistake was the impression I had that women were on equal footing in with men. That a wife was on the same playing field that a man was, and that was very evident that that was not true. It is an unlevel playing field. And I remember being in court. We didn't go litigation, but we did have to go to court one time. And my professional ex-husband shows up there in his suit and a tie and everything. And I was dressed nicely and everything, but wasn't professional. And there was just, the judge and attorneys seemed to take more at face value at what my ex-husband was saying than what I was saying. And I just felt that in my situation, and I see this now in a lot of my cases that I work on, it just seems like the men are taken more seriously than the women are. And so that was my biggest mistake, is to think that we were on equal footing.
Yeah, unfortunately, gender bias sounds like everywhere, and in this situation as well, at least in your experience and your experience with your clients. One of the things that I have found in the work that I've done coaching women who have gone through divorce is that often there's a boost in their financial confidence. Did that happen for you? I know you learned this whole new skill, but did you find that to be true, or do you find that to be true for your clients?
Well, going through it, no, I definitely did not feel that I had any confidence whatsoever. It's after the fact. And again, it's how you get through it. So I did get through it in a good way. I got what I was entitled to, which was a fair and equitable settlement. Did I have the financial confidence right after that? No, not at all. I had to work at it. But I also wasn't going to sit there and play the victim either. And that's what I tell my clients. Like, you can sit there and go, "Oh, I should have done this," or "Why didn't we do this?" or "What about this?" You can't do that. You have to move on. You have to just pick yourself up by your bootstraps, right? Climb back up that mountain and get to the top. And that's when I got my financial confidence, is when I got to that top and I realized, oh, hey, I can actually do this. And that's what I tell my clients. No matter how far down you are right now, if I can do it, you can do it, because I am nothing special. I was a stay-at-home mom, and I just made a decision to get back up to where I needed to be.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, good for you. And I think that's important for people listening in, whether you're working with women who are divorcing or whether you are someone who's contemplating it or going through it, that, often the statistics out there with financial confidence is, according to Diane's experience, is kind of it's after the fact. Now, Chris, I just want to go over to you real quick. How about with your clients? What is the impact of going through a divorce on your female clients' financial confidence?
Well, I think it starts with a downward impact, if you will. I think people going through divorce don't feel very confident about anything, and money is one of those things. When they get out of divorce, that is when they get to rebuild, and sometimes they reinvent the way that Diane did, and that is when the confidence rises again. In general, for people who reinvent themselves, what you find is that they become really confident and successful afterwards.
Awesome. Well, listen, we're going to take a quick break. And when we get back, we're going to shift gears a little bit. We are going to talk specifically about some tips and tools that people who are listening in can use if they are contemplating divorce, going through a divorce, or just wondering how to help a friend. We'll be back in a minute.
Feeling exhausted from the constant struggle to communicate your true value? Are you battling the fear and uncertainty that often accompany building a service-based business? If so, the Unleash Your True Value private coaching program could be the solution you've been searching for. Designed by Kathleen Burns Kingsbury, wealth psychology expert and money mindset coach for the ambitious woman poised to elevate her business to new heights. Find out if the program is right for you. Simply email kbk@kbkwealthconnection.com now to set up a free consultation.
This is Kathleen Burns Kingsbury, and we are talking about finding your value after divorce. My guests are Diane Pappas and Chris Chen. They have collaborated on a course that's called, I love how simple this is and direct, the Divorce Course for Women. And they are both experts in the field and help women going through this difficult transition. So Chris, before I want to switch gears. I mean, it was so great to hear, Diane. Thank you for sharing your story. But I want to switch gears a little bit and talk about, if someone is contemplating a divorce and listening in, what is the first step they should take?
So we may be somewhat biased because we're financial planners, but It's often been said that marriage is about love and divorce is about money. And we find that it is often true, notwithstanding that there are often children involved. There are basically three questions that a woman who is divorcing needs to be able to answer. The first question is, where are you today in terms of finances? And that is about taking stock of what they have, taking stock about what their husband has, and putting it all together. The second question is, where are you going to be on the day of divorce? And that leads to, how do you get from that first point to settlement? And that is where you have a lot of complicated financial issues that may happen. And the third question is, where are you going to be 15 years after the divorce? And that is essentially, the answer to that is essentially where we figure out how do we bring this woman that we're talking to financial success later on. So these are three questions. And so these are difficult questions. It's not simple. And so the first thing that I would recommend is actually to get help and to go from there. Like Diane did not become an expert overnight. And it's important that you get that background in order to get through. The second thing about that is that you want to understand that the different specialists that are out there are specialists. So your lawyer will not know everything, and they don't usually know everything about finance in the same way that Diane and I don't know everything about the law.
Yeah, so maybe the first step should be to meet with someone like you, a CDFA, certified divorce financial analyst, and try to evaluate kind of where you are and try to answer those difficult questions, or at least start chipping away at the first one. So I know you've developed a course. It's the divorce course for women. It's an online course. I know you both put your heart and soul into it. Diane, tell us a little bit about the course, and is this maybe a place where women can take a first step?
Sure. So, believe it or not, we actually tried many names for this course. We probably spent a couple hours trying to come up with a name, and we just ended up with the Divorce Course for Women because that is what it is. So, we developed this because, as you can probably ascertain by now, women need that help. I would get phone calls all the time from women saying, I don't know where to go. I don't know what to do. I feel like I've lost my power. I don't even know who I am anymore. So I and Chris really wanted to help give women a head start or a jump start, shall we say, give them the opportunity to get their power back. And how do we get power back? We get power back by knowledge. We all know the saying, knowledge is power. But the power that we want to talk about is this financial awareness, this empowerment. It's not power that you're going to control the process or do something nefarious or negative, to your spouse or anything else. It's the power for yourself to be informed, be educated, so that you are able to go through the process and not with your head in the sand, but with your head held high, knowing what you're entitled to and what you need. What your goals are and what you are entitled to. And one of the biggest questions that I always had is, am I going to be okay? And that's what a lot of women say. Am I going to be okay? So like Chris was saying, we have those three questions. Where are you now? What's it going to look like at the day of divorce? And am I going to be okay? And the divorce course for women answers or helps to answer and attempts to answer those questions for you. It guides you along from the beginning to the end. And it prepares you for your conversations with an attorney so that you can have a knowledgeable conversation with them. You're going to be efficient with your time because you're going to know exactly what you need. You're not going to waste money with the attorney. Taking the course is less expensive than paying a retainer. It's much less expensive. So if you get all that knowledge up front, then you're much better prepared to go through the process and speak to other people like your attorney and like a CDFA if you hire one.
And that brings me to CDFA versus course. And I know maybe that's not a fair question, but Chris, tell us a little bit about what a CDFA does, because I know, but I think maybe some of our listeners who aren't in the industry may not. And then, when should you take a course versus when should you contact someone like one of you?
Yeah. So a CDFA is a certified divorce financial analyst. And it's a certification that Diane and I both took in order to work more efficiently in this field. So the course is not going to make you a CDFA, but the course is going to cover a lot of material that is actually not covered in the CDFA that will help you understand where your finances are and where you need to go. And so after taking the course, then you will probably be better equipped to go speak with a CDFA or a lawyer for that matter in order to proceed. The course helps you take stock of where you are. It helps you sort everything out so that you can make an efficient use of the time that you spend with a CDFA or a lawyer.
Well, and correct me if I'm wrong, but it sounds like it would actually put you in a better position to then use, the resources that you're going to need to use to invest in a CDFA and or an attorney at some point if you take the course first.
Yes, absolutely. So the professional time is very expensive. And so I will talk about lawyers in a little bit. I mean, you're going to be spending hundreds of dollars per hour of a lawyer's time. And you'll be spending also for a CDFA's time. That's just, unfortunately, that's the way that it works out there. And the course is going to be a lot more efficient in terms of getting you the background so you can ask the right questions to a lawyer or a CDFA. Is that you want to understand, for instance, how a division of asset happens. And so once you know how a division of asset happens, you can go to a CDFA or a lawyer and ask the question, how is my division of asset going to happen? And the course will give you that basic knowledge that lets you understand what's going on in the world of your financial divorce.
Great. Yep. Go ahead, Diane.
Kathleen, just as an example. So it's one of the things that we have found is that a lot of women and men don't really understand how to read a paycheck. Okay. A lot of women don't even know what their spouse is making. They may not even really know what they're making. So one of the sections in the course, we share several different types of pay stubs that show different types of deductions, because those things are really important that you need to know when you're going through a divorce. What am I paying for health insurance, dental, vision? What taxes are being taken out? Is this person contributing to their retirement plan? Are they paying union dues? There's all kinds of things that a pay stub can tell us. So if we don't know how to read it, that's just going to make things a lot harder. Same with the W-2. So we go over in detail things like that. So it's not just an overview. It really goes into, we said what holds people up most, what really creates the problems. And so it's understanding how to read things like the pay stub, a W-2. We go into tax returns. We don't do it in depth, but we go into the things that you really need to know, because these are the things that your attorney is going to ask you. And you're just going to feel so much better when you say, oh, I know how to read my pay stub now. I know how to read his pay stub. I can calculate what his income is. And that just really, that's just an amazing thing for someone to be able to do.
Well, and it sounds like it's incredibly practical and that it can, help women. It sounds like it could be helpful for anybody, no matter how they identify, but specifically women, to really get that practical knowledge and to be able to feel, we said earlier, knowledge is power. And I do think there's a way in which when women start to chip away at understanding their financial lives, there is such power that comes from it. And it can be overwhelming, but it sounds like a course like this really breaks it down step by step. So we're going to put a link to the course in the show notes, and people can certainly take a look at that and check it out. Unfortunately, time goes so quickly and we only have a few minutes left. But I want to make sure that while I have both of you with this great expertise, that I ask each of you to leave kind of us with one tip that you think listeners should hang on to when it comes to the topic of finding your value through divorce. And let's start with Chris.
Well, you mentioned earlier that divorce is incredibly stressful, and it's stressful on both parties, actually, and it is in the best interest of both parties, husband and wife, to get through it as fast as possible without, of course, compromising your finances. That will get you to the point where you can start addressing the next part of your life, and that is where you're going to be going. One thing that I would like to add, since you're going to put the link to the course in the show notes, is that there is a discount for people who listen to your podcast, and the discount is $200, and the code to use it is KBK44.
Oh, I love when the code has my initials in it. I'm not going to lie, Chris. Great. That sounds great. We will definitely highlight that special offer. And I, on behalf of all my listeners, appreciate that. How about you, Diane? What's one tip you'd like to leave our listeners with today?
Well, this is something that I really think women need to pay attention to and take to heart. You're stronger than you think you are. Because so many women, they come to me in the beginning, maybe crying on the phone, but then at the end, they are a completely different person. And I said, see, I told you, you can do this. You're stronger than you think you are. And if I can do it, you can do it.
I love that. I just got chills. So for anyone listening in that wants to contact either one of you, let's have you, Diane, say a little bit about how they would contact you, and then we'll go to you, Chris. And again, we'll highlight the course.
Sure. Well, the course is, you can access the course through divorcefriday.com. Chris and I each have our own practices. So my email or my website, my email, Diane, Diane, at solutionsfordivorce.com, or my website, solutionsfordivorce.com.
Awesome. And how about you, Chris? Where can people find out more about your practice?
Yeah, so we have both our contact information on divorcefriday.com, where the course is. And for me, it's a little bit more complicated. It's insightfinancialstrategist.com. And people have sometimes trouble spelling that. And unfortunately, that's the way it is. But if you search for Chris Chen CFP, you will find me, because I'm on the first page.
You are on the first page, because I looked you up before we started recording today. So he is speaking the truth. But we will put all your contact information in the show notes, as well as the special offer and the course link. I am inspired by your story, Diane. I am also really thankful, Chris, for you and the good work that you do with women going through divorce or after divorce. So thank you so much for breaking money silence with me.
Thanks for having us.
Oh, we're thrilled to be here.
This is Kathleen Burns Kingsbury saying thanks for listening, and make sure you subscribe so you don't miss the next episode.
Thank you for listening to Breaking Money Silence, hosted by Kathleen Burns Kingsbury, a wealth psychology expert, author, and founder of KBK Wealth Connection. If you like what you heard today, be sure to subscribe on iTunes or your favorite podcast app and leave a review. Also, share this episode with your friends and family. It is a great way to get the conversation started. For more money talk tips and information, or to hire Kathleen to speak at your next event, go to www.breakingmoneysilence.com.